Okay, one last video. One last video! So I say, right? So I say. I have a lot of fun being crazy or whatever this is that we got going on. We're not in darkness anymore, okay? We're not in darkness anymore. I've definitely had periods in my life where I was like in despair, and I did a lot of things that were terrible, and I kept myself down. But I was also, trying to fit in with the world. And trying to fit in with the world got me on psychiatric drugs, okay? And I think that people that go along with the world are going to be punished by the world. I know I've said this before, but I can't stress it enough. You can help somebody, probably somebody that's more on the schizophrenia spectrum. You can help those types of people. Everybody else is not going to listen to you. You can help people if they're in the process of making a worldly decision, like getting on meds, or, seeing a really shitty therapist. You can talk them out, or you can talk them down, or you could just tell them, yeah, go on the internet. You're good at that, right? Everybody's pretty good at going on the internet. So yeah, just use the internet rightly. Use the internet to look up stuff, that would benefit you. Do extensive research. I think the main problem, and this is the issue with sheep, they're not going to believe things like, the ketogenic diet. They're not going to believe that changing that kind of thing is going to actually benefit them. And they'll say, well, it's because there aren't studies that account for this. Yeah, and there are never going to be studies that account for that because the pharmaceutical companies run every motherfucking thing. Okay, they own the media. They're in bed with all the institutions. A bunch of celebrities promote disorders and the psychiatric treatment of disorders. Yeah, that they're never going to promote, like, health, like actual health. Because that's contrary to their goals. Like, if people took their health, not just their mental health, but their physical health, because those two things go hand in hand. If they took that into their own hands, literally, their mental health is literally in their hands. If they would actually use their smartphone to look up stuff that would be positive, but they would have to use their phone, and they would specifically have to use the internet in a very unconventional, seemingly conspiratorial, schizophrenic kind of way, where they would look up things that aren't kosher or whatever. They would have to look up stuff that's not mainstream. They could just go on Reddit and they could see, like, the thousands of people. I know that there's Facebook pages devoted to this. The thousands of people, probably millions at this point, that are literally suffering from either the side effects of medications that they're on, or the withdrawal symptoms. Protracted withdrawal, that's what they call it. Now, I didn't experience that because I could never stay on meds. Like, the longest I've stayed on meds was maybe, like, by choice, 2 weeks. When I was forced to take them in rehab, that was like 28 days, right? Worst time of my life. But it was my fault. Totally my fault, because I couldn't control myself. So that's what happens. That's why I made this poster that says, maintain, motherfucker, maintain. That's devoted to my mental ills. So, yeah, that's why I tell people that if you gotta cry, you better do that shit in a bathroom stall. If you want to start acting human and shit, you can't do that in front of all these sheep because they won't be able to handle it. So, yeah. If you're experiencing grief, like, say your father dies, or your wife divorces you, and because she's probably on an SSRI, if something really terrible happens, don't tell anybody, don't tell a plebeian sheep about it, because they're going to convince you that you need to be on medication, even though you're experiencing some totally normal form of grief, and you probably should cry, and you probably should be angry, or whatever you're feeling is totally legit. But yeah, people can't handle it. You know, we've been trained as a society, specifically here in America, but I know this is a Western problem. We've been trained to believe that, you know, any uncomfortable experience is bad and we should try to rid ourselves of it. And this gullibility has allowed people to not only be put on medication, but just continue to take stuff that doesn't work, that is really bad for us. It's really neurotoxic. And now these people are suffering. They literally are suffering. So don't believe that you're suffering from mental illness, okay? Like, it's only suffering if you choose to look at it like that. I'm not saying that, like, it's always enjoyable. You know, it's definitely not. There are periods where every single day where I get very disheartened or disillusioned, whatever you want to call it, about the state of our society. And it's rarely about me anymore. It used to be about me, and then I worked on myself a good bit. And, you know, I have all these artistic things that I do. I would say that it's way better than just a coping mechanism. A coping mechanism would be doing drugs, okay? And I've definitely done a lot of drugs, but I do artistic things, and I, you know, walk around my neighborhood a lot, and I take long walks, and I talk to God, and I read the Psalms, and, you know, reading the scripture, that really helps because it's very philosophical. Anybody that thinks that reading the Bible is stupid, there's so much philosophy in the Bible. You should read it before you scoff, okay? So much philosophy. But, yeah, I mean, if you don't want to read the Bible, I'm sure there's plenty of other philosophical stuff that you could read that would help you out. So you could read the Quran, right? I hear that one's good too. I kind of want to read it just because I like learning about other religions anyway. And, you know, once you see the similarities, you understand that, like, you have way more in common with people that you've been told to hate, or people that you've been told, like, oh, they're so different from you. Not really. Not really. I really get along with Muslims mainly because they're very patriarchal and they hate women. And, well, supposedly they hate women. According to the West, they hate women, but they just want women to be kept in line. And I realize that that's kind of, like, contrary to what I'm doing, you know? Because, like, I'm very much free spirit, and I wouldn't be able to get along in a Middle Eastern country. You know, they would give me so many lashes, it's not even funny. Because I'm sure at some point I'd take off my burqa. But at this point, in this country, I'm like, man, I would wear a burqa if that would shut other women up. You know? Take one for the team, you know? But the problem with freedom and the problem with voting and democracy and all that shit, not that I think we actually have that, but if we did, the problem is that most people are very stupid, and they're just not self-aware, and they don't know what's best for them. And I'm not just talking about women. I think that a lot of men are pretty stupid too, because they want to fuck us and they don't care about the consequences of that. And not just the sex, but, you know, relationships and all that. It's like people just don't think about the consequences of anything. And yeah, you see that a lot with everybody. And when you give everybody the same rights, like, that's the recipe for disaster, because most people can't fucking handle them. And those of us that aren't retarded have to experience the negative repercussions of living in a society that is. You know? It's not really fair. But, you know, I'm used to shit not being fair. I'm not one of these stupid, you know, idealistic morons that thinks that we're gonna change what's going to happen in society in regards to, you know, justice and, I mean, I'd love to believe in that shit. I'd love to believe in that shit, but it's really not possible in this world. Like one of my favorite proverbs, I'm paraphrasing. Evil men do not understand justice, but those that seek the Lord understand all things. So, definitely paraphrasing that one. But I read a lot of different versions of the Bible too, so that's my excuse. But yeah, it's like if you seek the Lord, which means the truth, okay? That's how I see God. If you seek the truth, then not only do you understand what's terrible about the world, but you understand what would be better. You understand, like, everything. Because you have the desire to. You have the desire to live in a better society. And so, yeah, these people that seem like they're totally erratic, but they're so fixated on this idea that they're right about whatever, you know, but a lot of the time it's like the social justice, what they call the social justice warriors or whatever. But, you know, you see this with, you know, people that, like, they'll just talk about some political thing or some news story. It's like, it's probably bullshit, but they'll talk endlessly about it because they want to feel justified in their viewpoint. They want to feel justified and like, oh, I know what would fix this. I know. But it's like, you really don't though, because if you're not looking at all sides of it, you're not capable of that. That's the problem with social media, is that it's lowered people's ability to empathize. And if you can't empathize, then you're just a useless person. I mean, I'm just saying. Okay, let's do one more. No, I don't like that chord. No. C chord. I want what's good for everyone, but I also really want to have some fun. This is how I have fun. I allow myself to experience every single emotion on the spectrum, and not the autism spectrum, mind you. Of course they call it the autism spectrum because most people aren't autistic. That's what that means. Okay? So you just wear headphones everywhere you go so that you don't have to pay attention to anything around you. I mean, I get it, but you don't have to say you're autistic. I think that a lot of people don't know how to just accept that they don't feel right in this world that they live in. And that's okay, you're not supposed to, honey. You don't need a disorder. You don't need a definition to explain your personality problem. Just say I hate this world, just say I hate this world, just say I hate this world, it's understandable. That happened today at church, like I just... I'm in the choir, by the way, for those of you who don't know. I probably do look really weird right now because of all these like spasmic movements I am making. Spasmic or spastic, I don't know. When you just go with yourself. Is that really the best thing you can do? When you just go with yourself, there's nothing you can't do. Because do it in your own way. You do it in your own way. I'll come up with my own version. To get over what I thought I never could get over. Used to really bother me that I wasn't this way, that way. And I'm not gonna say things that make me sound presentable. And I'm not as feminine as the other gals. How many times can I say that? I might as well be a man. Definitely think like one. Probably because I got spatial reasoning. I know the difference between one thing and another thing. I don't think that rape is everything. I don't think that rape is everything, really anything that I want it to be. This is what you did to me, cause I think it's what you did to me. I'm pretty sure that most women are sociopaths. because we want to be a victim. We want to be a victim. So much so that we make ourselves a victim of a world that's only gonna use us and spit us out. They capitalize on the victim mentality, and that doesn't just affect women anymore. That affects men that act just like women, which are way worse than women. But it's the easiest way to control a country. It's the easiest way to control society. It's the easiest way to govern a person's decisions when you capitalize on their lack of understanding of their own emotions. And then you hijack them, and then you fuck with their neurotransmitters, and then you get them to obsess about a bunch of stuff that's not really happening, but they think it's happening, and that's all that matters. If you think that something is happening, it's happening, it's happening. If you think that something happened, it happened, yeah, it happened. If you think you got a disorder, that's all you'll have is that disorder. Obsess about the problem till you're nothing but a problem. Obsess about a problem till you're nothing but a problem. Obsess about a problem. Well, I'd rather obsess about solutions, but I want to tell you about them, because they're gonna crucify me. That's why you can't say you got the cure for cancer. They'll kill your ass. Stop. I'm like feeling this energy, like, whoa, man. Am I on speed? This is fun. It's like there's a rhythm to it, you know? Jazzy. It's jazzy. It's punky. It's like... it's a bunch of shit. It's comedy. Right? Oh, somebody said, well, it's not music. It's not music. Honey, shut the fuck up. You're not a person. Did you ever think about that? You're just a caricature on the internet. Which is the most boring place in the world, if you ask me. I know you're not asking. But I'm going to pretend that you asked specifically that question. I like that. That's kind of cool. It's just one hand too. I mean, occasionally I'll play with this hand. I'll just add to it, but it's just one hand I'm playing with. And I just start with the two chords. You know, so I started with the C chord, and whatever this second chord is, this is E flat? Is that what that is? So that's C, E flat, and A. What is that? I don't know what that means. Like, altogether, what is that? What was the point of this song? I don't remember why I started singing. I guess it doesn't matter. Because the purpose of this endeavor is just to do something. Doesn't have to go in one particular direction. How boring is that? It's way more fun when you don't know where you're going. You'll figure it out. That's why I don't have a smartphone. That's why I don't have a GPS system. I'd rather get lost. Because when I get lost, I figure out where I am eventually. And I'm also not relying on a machine. How cool is that? I'm a weird-ass human being in this day and age. So I was thinking about, who's that guy? Phineas Gage. So Phineas Gage was this dude from a long-ass time ago who supposedly had some steel rod lodged into his brain, and as you can imagine, it dramatically altered his personality and made him a total asshole. And this is when they discovered that the frontal lobe is pretty important. So Phineas Gage, all he'd have to do is access a Facebook page, and the same thing would be accomplished. Cause then he'd be full of rage for no reason other than what he's told to do by all the people that want to control me and you. Yeah, everybody's Phineas Gage these days, wouldn't you say? But most people have brain damage. Don't expect them to ever know it. And if you try to tell them, it sure as shit love to show it, but they'll never believe it. They'll just be convinced that it's you that's got the problem. Everyone's projecting, that's what I'm expecting from now on. I hope that this channel, if it does anything for you, it'll teach you how to navigate this world that we're living in right now. Everybody's on some kind of spectrum. Well, we're on a human spectrum, which is the schizophrenia spectrum, apparently. If you don't believe in the television because you have one inside of your brain that's way more entertaining than all the Illuminati stuff, you're gonna get accused of doing the opposite of what you're trying to do. You're gonna get accused, but just know that you're doing the right thing. My reward's in heaven.